Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Representatives Arndt. Baker J. Baker K. Beckman. Benavides. Bridges. Buck. Buckner. Carver. Catlin. Coleman. Covarrubias. Danielson. Escar. Everett. Exum. Foote. Representative Foote. Garnett. Janal. Gray. Gray.
Excused.
Hamner. Hamner.
Excused.
Hanson. Hanson.
Excused as well.
Herod. Putin. Putin. Representative Hanson is present.
Excused.
Humphrey. Jackson. Kennedy. Kraft-Tharp. Landgraf. Lawrence. Lebsock. Lee. Leonard. Lewis. Liston. Lontine. Lontine.
Excused.
Lundeen. McKean. McKean.
Excused.
Representative Gray is present. McLaughlin. Melton. Michael St-Genet. Mitch Bush. Navarro. Neville. Nordberg. Pabon. Pedersen. Pedersen. Oh. Rankin. Rankin. Representative Hooten is present.
Excused.
Ransom. Ransom. Oh, Representative McKean is present.
Representative Ransom, excused.
Rosenthal. Representative Hamner is present. Sane. Salazar. Sias. Singer. Thurlow. Valdez. Van Winkle. Weissman. Willett. Williams. Wilson. Winter. Wist. Young. Representative Ransom is present. Madam Speaker.
Present. With 57 present and 8 excused, we have a quorum. Representative Michelson Janae, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Speaker, and thank you. In honor of Rabbi Joe Black, I am going to make this morning's motion in Hebrew. אני עצוב שהקריאה ליומן מיום רביעי, אפריל 26, 2017, מזרוק וקורא טוב מפקוד הרשות. Or, Madam Speaker, I move that the reading of the Journal of Wednesday, April 26, 2017, be dispensed with and approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
Wow, nicely done. Impressive. Members, you have heard the motion. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
10.
Those opposed signify by saying no.
No.
The motion passes.
Only the once. Thank you.
All right. Announcements and introductions. Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, Monday is the final Veterans Caucus. It will be held downstairs at noon. Please RSVP to Jerry if you want lunch. Thank you.
Also, I have an announcement. Representative Dave Williams will replace Representative Lori Sane on Ledge Council tomorrow only. Representative Representative Melton, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. Well, members, you know what tomorrow is not? It is not bow tie, bolo, baby, and scarf Friday. And here's why. Representative.
We do have some memorials tomorrow, so we figure we skip Bowtie Friday. But next week is the last Bowtie, Bolo, Baby, and Scarf Friday. So we expect 100%, 100%, not Common Core math 100%, but actually 100% participation next week.
Further announcements or introductions? Representative Rosenthal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, if I could have your attention.
Do you need help?
All right,
Representative
thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, members. Members, we have a dignitary who is visiting us with her staff today and would like to welcome her heartily. We have the ambassador from Finland, Kirsti Kauppi, and she has been the ambassador of the United States since 2015. She's been posted in Vienna, Berlin, Brussels, Bangkok, and she speaks English, Swedish, German, and French. So if you want to practice, you're welcome to say hello. So if you won't mind standing, and let's recognize her. She's also here with her press counselor, Sana, oh good Lord, Kangasharayu, Honorary Consul Juha Marika Kali, and President of the Finnish Foundation, Kirsi Samari. Thank you, and thank you for being here. Kiitos paljon.
Further announcements or introductions? Representative Kraftart.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So Business Affairs and Labor Committee, I want to give you fair warning and time to be able to prepare. We're going to be having 5 bills up today, but there will be a change in order. Oh, Representative Liston can't hear.
Let me help you out.
Thank you very much. It's important that Representative Liston's able to hear this because this directly affects you and all your friends. So we are changing the order of bills that are coming up in the Business Affairs and Labor Committee. Representative Arndt, Representative Liston, their bill right now is scheduled, we're planning on it coming up second instead of third. So we're moving you up, Representative Liston. And be aware that if we have difficulty getting a hold of representatives because they're presenting bills in other committees, we may be changing the order of the bills as need be. So see you all this afternoon.
Further announcements or introductions? Representative Arndt.
Thank you, colleagues. Today we're having a celebration for Professor John Strayer down in the West Foyer. And it's really important if you'd like to stop by and wish him well. We have two people, we have a whole agenda of speakers. We have a governor's proclamation right here. And we also, Senator Cory Gardner is reading something into the congressional record today. So please join us at 11:30 to 1:30 in the West Foyer and wish Dr. Strayer well upon his retirement. This is his last day after 37 years.
Further announcements and introductions. Representative Valentine.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to introduce my constituents from House District 1 today. House District 1 is in the House. So everybody from Southwest Denver, stand up. And if you could show your appreciation for Southwest Denver. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Further announcements or introductions. Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you, too.
Good morning, Transportation Energy members. We do meet today upon adjournment, and we have added a bill to our agenda. So we will have two bills today. One of them you're already familiar with, Senate Bill 229. We have also added House Bill 1362, which directs the TLRC to take testimony and try to develop a strategy regarding transportation funding. Thank you. See you then.
Representative Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. Today is Bring Your Children to Work Day. Unfortunately, Ashton is in school today, but many of our state employees have brought their children to work today across the state to show the benefit of public service. And I know many of them are in the gallery. So for all the kids who came to Bring Your Kids to Work Day, can you please get up and wave your hand, and can we all give them a round of applause? Woo!
Further announcements or introductions. Representative Janal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. HIE Committee will meet this afternoon at 1:30, and we will hear 5 bills. They will be Senate Bill 249, Senate Bill 278, House Bill 351, or 1351, 1350, and 1355. See you at 1:30.
All right, Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, please join me in welcoming some students from Longs Peak Middle School all the way from Longmont down I-25 to the Colorado State Capitol. Please stand up and be recognized. Thank you all for joining us.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I have an important announcement. I think you all know, but today we're going to be coming back on the floor at 5:30 in the evening to continue working through bills. So there will be a call of the House. Please plan on being here at 5:30 tonight.
Further announcements and introductions. Representative Lebsag.
Members of the House Local Government Committee, good work last night. We do have one bill that we need to finish up, action only. 1311 upon adjournment.
Any further announcements or introductions? Any further announcements or introductions? Representative Buck.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And it's
Hold on one second, Representative Buck.
Oh. It's a pleasure
I lost
to work
my
with
doll
you,
with that one. Representative Buck.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have to tell you, folks, I get so excited when I see these dolls come into the chambers. This is a huge thing that the Colorado Children's Campaign does to raise awareness for children, and they do an incredible report on all the statistics of our children in our communities. So I just want to give them a big shout out. I also want you to know, if you don't want your dolls, I will take those dolls, I put them in my office, and they talk to me when the office is empty and I stay there late. But they really do so much to make our environment wonderful, and so please welcome them, the Colorado Children's Campaign. Thank you very much.
Further announcements and introductions. Representative Joe Salazar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Please don't gavel me. That was extremely scary what happened just now. I just want to welcome a few of my constituents here to the House floor, Karen and Dan Facey, and they brought their grandson Marcus, who is looking at the seats trying to figure out which one he's going to sit in within the next 20 years. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you, Representative Salazar. That will be a $1 fine. Any further announcements or introductions? Any further announcements or introductions? Going once, going twice. All right, we're moving on to third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. Randall, please read the title. Hold on. Members, we're doing third reading. Ms. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1340.
House Bill 1340 by Representative Lundin and Garnett, House Senator Sila Moreno, concerning creation of legislative interim committees to school finance issues and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1340 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1340 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Benavides and Representative Hamner, please vote. There she is. Please, oh jeez. Please close the machine. With 65 yes votes, 0 no votes, House Bill 1340 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please, whoa, there's a lot more co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1139.
House Bill 1139 by Representatives Landgraf, Michelson, Janelle, Senators Martinez, Dominic, and Capalas, concerning improving Medicaid client protections through effective enforcement of Medicaid provider requirements.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1139 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1139 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted everybody to know that I was told today that with the amendments, the Colorado Medical Society is neutral, leaning towards support. The dentists and the family physicians are all in support. So we have nobody in opposition. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Beckman. Please close the machine. With 65 yes votes, 0 no votes, House Bill 1139 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1275.
House Bill 1275 by Representative Winter Allison Priolo concerning additional measures to increase waste diversion and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1275 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1275 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Benavides. Please close the machine. With 37 yes votes, 28 no votes, House Bill 1275 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1248.
House Bill 1248 by Representative Martin L. Senator Cook concerning the funding of Colorado Water Conservation Board projects and in connection therewith making appropriations.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1248 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is a passage of House Bill 1248 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Humphrey and Representative. All right. Please close the machine. With 65 yes votes, 0 no votes, House Bill 1248 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 218.
Senate Bill 218 by Senators Kerr and Tate, also Representative Kennedy, concerning the continuation of the regulation of landscape architects by the Division of Professions and Occupations in the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 218 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of Senate Bill 218 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Benavides, please vote. Please close the machine. With 36 yes votes, 29 no votes, Senate Bill 218 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randolph, please read the title of Senate Bill 221.
Senate Bill 221 by Senator Cord, House Representative Melton, concerning the continuation of the Court Security Cash Fund commissioned.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 221 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of Senate Bill 221 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randolph, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative McKean and Representative Pedersen, please vote. Please close the machine. With 53 yes votes, 12 no votes, Senate Bill 221 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randolph, please read the title of Senate Bill 239.
Senate Bill 239 by Senator Williams and Martinez-Dominic, also Representative Singer and Thurlow, concerning additional authority for the Controller to allow non-monetary adjustments for information technology capital projects in certain circumstances.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 239 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of Senate Bill 239 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randolph, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Representative Escar, Representative Humphrey, and Representative Pedersen. Please close the machine. With 62 yes votes, 3 no votes, Senate Bill 239 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 217.
Senate Bill 217 by Senator Garcia, also Representative Michelson Janae, concerning the continuation of the Board of Commissioners of Veterans Community Living Centers.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 217 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 217 on third reading and final passage. See no discussion. Mr. Randolph, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 62 yes votes, 3 no votes, Senate Bill 217 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 219.
Senate Bill 219 by Senators Garcia and Hill, also Representative Lantin, concerning the continuation of the local advisory boards for veteran community living centers.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 219 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of Senate Bill 219 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Lepsak and Representative Papone, please vote. Please close the machine. With 63 yes votes, 3 no votes, Senate Bill 219 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Introduction of bill.
House Bill 1365 by Representatives Garnett and Nordberg, all Senators Capalas Smallwood, concerning an exemption from the prohibition against having electronic benefits transfer services available through a non-manual teller machine located on a liquor license presence for an establishment licensed as a liquor license drugstore.
House Bill 1365 will be assigned to the Committee on Business Affairs and Labor.
We'll do 1029 first.
Is it the Senate resolution or is it 1029? Yes. We actually don't need to do mine today. Like, do mine. Wait.
We're going to do mine, Herod's, and then Jesse's today.
Okay, perfect.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for the consideration of resolutions.
Seeing no objection, we will proceed out of order for the consideration of resolutions.
1029.
1029? Okay.
So it's just mine and then Leslie Herod's.
Proceed out of order for the consideration of HAR 1029 then?
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for the consideration of House Joint Resolution 1029.
All right, seeing no objection, we will proceed out of order for the consideration of HJR 1029. Mr. Randall, please read the title of HJR 1029.
House Joint Resolution 1029 by Representative Becker K. L. Senator Sonnenberg, concerning the designation of Interstate Highway 76 as the Colorado Pollinator Highway.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Hold on 1 second, Madam Majority Leader. Members, we are doing resolutions. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move House Joint Resolution 1029 and do not read it read at length.
Okay, properly moved.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So today I am asking you to support House Joint Resolution 1029 because we're designating Interstate Highway 76 as a Colorado Pollinator Highway. Oh, members, you can be seated. Thank you. So what are pollinators and why do we care about them? Pollinators like bees and butterflies are vital to Colorado's nation's economy, food security, and environmental health. Honeybee pollination alone adds more than $15 billion in value to our ag crops each year and provides the backbone to ensuring our diets are plentiful and varied. Members, thank you. Unfortunately, pollinator populations have been declining rapidly due to multiple stressors. Among these are habitat loss and fragmentation and a lack of available forage. A diverse and thriving pollinator population supports ag and a diverse ecosystem, and there are simple tools we can engage to expand pollinator habitat in Colorado. One area that provides an ideal opportunity is our state highways. And if we manage those, we can actually increase the number of pollinators in Colorado and benefit our ag industry that way. In 2015, a multi-state partnership was forged to bring together transportation agencies and other partners along I-35 to catalyze efforts to protect pollinators and their habitats and to engage people in supporting pollinators. Using existing tools and programs, the resolution directs the Colorado Department of Transportation to designate I-76 as a Colorado pollinator highway. This allows the department to accept gifts, grants, or donations to install signage and for public education. It'll also direct CDOT to coordinate with local governments, willing landowners, and other groups to utilize integrated resource vegetative management strategies to develop pollinator habitat where appropriate. So these efforts have been found to save transportation agencies money as the maintenance needs of pollinator habitat is very low. So members, one of the reasons I care about this is, as you may know, my family, we grow citrus, oranges and grapefruit. I grew up in Florida. And all my years of growing up, there were always beekeepers that brought their boxes of bees to our groves all along the edges, and they pollinated our trees. And for years and years and years, this happened. And I think it was maybe 15 or 20 years ago, I'd already left Florida, and I went out to the groves, and there were no beekeepers there. There were none. And and the answer was they had just disappeared. Not the beekeepers, but the bees the beekeepers were keeping. They were gone. And the impact to the ag industry everywhere is huge if we don't actually take care of pollinators. So I, in preparation for this resolution, contacted my dad, and he said, yes, in fact, the beekeepers are back. The numbers are down significantly, and it really has an impact to my family who grows fruit, but in every state, whether you're in the ag industry or not, it's just beneficial for our environment, and it's beneficial for the food that we eat. So I think that this is a really easy way for Colorado to show its support and for us to support more pollinator habitat, and so I ask for your aye vote.
Any further discussion? Representative Gray.
Thank you, members. I support this resolution in honor of the bumblebee, and I'll tell you why the bumblebee is important. The bumblebee is important because my one-year-old son's favorite word is bumblebee, and I want to go home and show him video of me saying bumblebee over and over again when I get home tonight. Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? Minority Leader Neville.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, as a very new beekeeper myself, and I say very new, I mean I literally just dropped a beehive on myself on Saturday, and I only got stung once though, but I guess as a new beekeeper myself, I can go ahead and support this resolution.
Representative Winter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I encourage you to come down here. We have some bees with us in the chamber today, and I want to thank our beekeeper from the Pollinators Action Network. Our beekeepers are over there. We also have representatives, hello, thank you beekeepers, from the Butterfly Pavilion. I'm on the board of the Butterfly Pavilion, which is the only invertebrate zoo in the country, and we are leading the science on pollinators, and I am excited to support this resolution today.
Further discussion? Representative Escar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank you all for bringing this resolution and for bringing me face to face with my biggest fear. Yeah, I have such a fear of bees and any flying insect whatsoever. But this past weekend on Earth Day, I was able to participate at a great event in Pueblo. We're expanding some hives in our zoo to help pollinate and to help the pollinators as well. And I actually suited up and went and touched a live hive, and I'm working on it. When you all first walked in with this hive today, I kind of shuddered, but I know how important pollinators are, and I completely support this resolution, and I appreciate, once again, facing my fear head on. So thank you all.
Representative Liston. Oh, goodness. Representative Michelson Janae.
Hello, members. I rise in support of this resolution, as this is my highway that I drive to work every day, and I'll be playing this. Hold on. Wait for it. In case you don't recognize it, this is the flight of the bumblebee, ladies and gentlemen.
Any further discussion? Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to thank Majority Leader Becker for bringing this resolution 1029, and I hope everybody likes honey out there, because it's a wonderful thing that all our pollinators bring, and our pollinators for agriculture. Thank you.
Any further discussion on HJR 1029? Seeing none, the question before us is a passage of HJR 1029. All of those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying no. HJR 1029 is passed. And members, has been a request that we open the machine for co-sponsors. So, Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Co-sponsors, please close the machine. All right. It's going to take a little while to get that out of here, I think. Madam Majority Leader, would you like to proceed out of order for the next resolution?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for the consideration of House Resolution 1008.
Seeing no objection, we'll proceed out of order for the immediate consideration of H.R. 1008. Mr. Randall, please read the title of H.R. 1008.
House Resolution 1008 by Representatives Harrod and Wist, concerning recognizing the importance of Colorado libraries.
Assistant Minority Leader Wist.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move House Joint Resolution 17-1008 and ask it to be read at length.
Whereas, Colorado libraries are a vital and essential public resource that provide free and equal access to educational and recreational material and enrich the lives of all citizens. And whereas libraries play a critical role in democracy and community development by promoting civil discourse and empowering citizens to learn, imagine, and succeed. And whereas libraries across Colorado lead the way in developing new and innovative ways of meeting the needs of and uniting the state's increasingly diverse population. And whereas Colorado receives $2.7 million annually from the Federal Institute of Museum and Library Services for library services and technology, which is roughly 2/3 of the state library's total operational costs. And whereas the IMLS is the main funding source for more than 40 different Colorado library services and programs, yet costs less than 49 cents per resident. And whereas one such program is the Check Out Colorado State Parks program, now in its second year. The program allows each library to offer 2 Colorado State Park passes and activity backpacks to library patrons. The program is used almost 4,000 times total, or more than 165 times a week in the first 6 months. And whereas early learning programs, such as One Book for Colorado, which gives away 75,000 books each year to 4-year-olds statewide, Storyblocks.org, an online tool to help parents learn how to reinforce early learning skills, and the statewide summer reading program that encourages children, teens, and adults to read and learn for fun. All are funded through IMLS. And whereas the IMLS funds support professional development programs like the Career Online High School, which, when launched this month, will help more than 200 adults in 17 libraries across the state earn high school diplomas and career experience, and the highly effective school library program, which helps schools provide tools for students to develop 21st century skills to meet academic standards. And whereas essential library programs and services, such as the Colorado Talking Book Library, Colorado's historic newspaper collection, the state's institutional libraries, state publications, and many others all receive funding support through the IMLS. And whereas this vital funding from the IMLS allows every Coloradan to have access to these programs and ensure that Colorado's rich diversity and culture is represented by libraries across the state, including the Blair Caldwell African American Research Library in Denver's historic Five Points neighborhood that is devoted to preserving and showcasing the many contributions of African Americans to Colorado and the West, and is one of only 5 library institutions in the nation that encompasses a circulating collection, archive, and museum, and the Rodolfo Corky Gonzalez Branch Library, designed specifically to celebrate the diverse and culturally rich community of West Denver. And be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 71st General Assembly of the State of Colorado that we, the members of the Colorado House of Representatives, declare our support and appreciation for Colorado libraries and staff, and recognize that the invaluable public services and programs provided by Colorado libraries and staff cannot be sustained without the funding support from the Federal Institute of Museum and Library Services.
Okay. Representative Herod.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, thank you so much for your attention this morning for our very important Colorado libraries. I know that probably each and every single one of us in this chamber have had the pleasure of going to a library, whether as a young person or older. A lot of us use them in our district all the time, as well as taking our young people there. I think it's very fitting that on Take Your Kid to Work Day, and I know we have some kids in the chamber today, that we talk about the importance of Colorado libraries. Our libraries are very important. They connect our community, they reflect our community, and I gotta tell you, they are cutting edge right now with the way that they are bringing broadband to households and communities that don't have them. One of my favorite programs is the Backpack Programs, members. And not to give you guys too much of a PSA, but did you know that you can go to your library, check out a backpack, and get a free park pass, along with all the information that you need to explore Colorado's great outdoors? I think it's a great program that we have here in Colorado, and I'm excited to stand in support of H.R. 1008.
Assistant Minority Leader West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, one of my favorite things about libraries is that they're quiet. Seriously, members, one of the pathways, one of the key pathways to success in life is education. And for so many members of our community, that education begins with a love of learning, a love of books, and that should be a lifelong journey. And our libraries provide the link for so many members of our community to have access to information, to have access to learning. So I want to honor those in our libraries who do so much. We're very fortunate in my district to have one of the crown jewels, the Arapahoe Libraries. In just a few moments, I'll have an opportunity to introduce some of the leaders in Arapahoe. But I want to thank you, Representative Herod, for your leadership in sponsoring this resolution and a way for us to honor those who do so much for our communities.
And Assistant Minority Leader West, would you change your motion? You said HJR 1008 and it's just HR 1008. We just want to make sure it's clear for the record.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I do move House Resolution 171008.
All right, thank you, Assistant Minority Leader West. Any further discussion? Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I just had to pop up really quick and thank the sponsors for bringing this bill. The reason that I don't carry around my gold card, and I'm serious, I have a gold card from the Douglas County Library System because back in 1993, I checked out the millionth book from that system. They gave me a gold card. And the reason I don't carry it and I can't show it off here is because I have my number memorized. So whenever I'm going, I can, just put the number in. But anyway, as a homeschooling mom, we checked out a lot of books that helped us through history curriculum and through some other things. And so we love our library. I've used all the libraries here. Right now I have a book on CD in my car that I listen to and from here. I have a book with the little play-away that I listen to at the gym when I'm running. And then, of course, I have a stack of books at least this tall, which I'm not reading right now because I'm reading bills instead. But I do celebrate libraries, and thank you to both sponsors for bringing this resolution.
Further discussion. Representative Weissman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My mother was a librarian for most of 40 years, reference librarian and sometime professor of library science. She retired a couple years ago as the head of the reference division for a public library in the county where I grew up of population 500,000. Spent a lot of time in libraries, the city library, the county library, a nearby college library growing up, and I really came to appreciate books and the knowledge that is passed down to us from the past, that it is the function of libraries to preserve. So there's a lot that I could say, but out of respect for brevity, I will say only one thing, and that is that the lesson of libraries and librarianship is that if you ask the right questions of the right people, you can find an answer to almost any problem, and I think that is a good lesson for us to keep in mind here. Thank you.
Further discussion? Representative Buck.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I am very proud holder of the High Plains Library District Library Card and Clearview Library. But my fondest memories of growing up were being able to put a sticker on a big dragon, and you get so many stickers for how many books you read, but I want to pass those on to the next generation. I can't thank the librarians enough for that, as well as helping me to find the last page for a knitting pattern. Those librarians are just the best. I mean, they want to help with all their hearts, and I can't thank them enough. And I want to thank the representatives for bringing this, and thank you.
Further discussion, Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the sponsors for bringing House Resolution 1008, Representative Wist and Representative Herod. For all the libraries in the state of Colorado, for the libraries in House District 62 that open doors for learning for our community, for our youth. Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is a passage of H.R. 1008. All of those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying no. H.R. 1008 is passed. Co-sponsors. Would somebody like to make a motion? Representative Herod.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the morning roll call be added as co-sponsors.
Seeing no objection, the morning roll call will be added as co-sponsors. Assistant Minority Leader Wist.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I referenced earlier, we are very proud in Arapahoe County to have just a fantastic library system. We do have 3 representatives of Arapahoe Libraries who are with us today. We have Holly Whalen, who's the Library Operations Manager, Julie Luplo, who's the Library Supervisor at the Arapahoe County Detention Center, and Alex Campbell, who's the Youth Services Librarian. Please welcome these fine leaders of Arapahoe Libraries to the House floor.
Thank you for joining us. Representative Herod.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And as Representative Weissman alluded to, libraries do help us open our mind to wonderment. And I am honored to recognize some folks from the Denver Public Library. We've got Diane LePierre here as well. Please stand. And we have my mentor, the Honorable Rosemary Marshall, who is the president of Denver's Library Commission. Please stand and be welcomed.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for the consideration of House Resolution, I just lost the number, 30, House Joint Resolution 36.
Senate, I think it's Senate Joint Resolution 36. Seeing no objection, we will move to proceed out of order for the immediate consideration of SJR 36. Mr. Randall, please read the title of SJR 36.
Senate Joint Resolution 36 by Senator Zenzinger, also Representative Buckner, concerning designating April 2017 as Autism Awareness Month.
Representative Buckner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand in strong support of SJR 17-036.
Representative Buckner, would you like to move the resolution?
Yes, I move SJR 17-036.
Properly moved. Thank you.
Yes, this is Autism Awareness Month. Autism, or autism spectrum disorder, refers to a range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech and nonverbal communications, as well as by unique strengths and differences. We now know that there is not one autism, but many types caused by different combinations of genetic and environmental influences. Obvious signs appear between ages 2 to 3 or as early as 18 months. It's really important to seek evaluation early because we know that early intervention can improve outcomes, and the CDC estimates autism's prevalence as 1 in 68. That may not sound like a lot to you, but if you have a child who is autistic and you're in that 1 in 68, it makes a huge difference in the life of that child and the family. Here are some more statistics. 1 in 42 boys will be diagnosed with autism, compared to 1 in 189 girls. 50,000 teens with autism become adults, and they lose school-based autism services each year. That's really impactful. 1/3 of all kids with autism remain nonverbal, and as a speech pathologist, for years I worked with kids who had autism, and there was one little boy I will never forget. His name is Jimmy Lamiot, and he lives outside Chicago, and I still stay in touch with his parents to this day. I worked with him almost a year so he could learn to pronounce his name. When I would say, "Jimmy, what's your name?" For years he would say, "S-T-O-P, stop." S-T-O-P, stop. It's called perseveration. After a year, when he learned to say his parents, and his parents were both doctors, they cried, and I cried with them. Now Jimmy is semi-functional, but thank God we caught him early in life, and he was able to accept and really appreciate my speech pathology with him as an autistic child. So let me leave you with these thoughts. Learn the signs of autism, screen early, access resources, and learn more about it, and be an advocate and make a difference. Just keep in mind that kids who are in autistic families, the recent statistics say that these families spend $60,000 a year to help their children, educate their children, or take care of them. So thank you, and I rise in strong support of this resolution. And you may be seated.
Thank you, Representative Buckner. Further discussion. Representative Valentine.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just a little bit high. Thank you. Many of you may have heard, and I think I've mentioned this before in the well, my 3-year-old grandson, Sean, has autism. And I have some remarks. I asked my daughter-in-law if she would write down for me her thoughts about what it was like to parent a child with autism. But before I start, I wanted to talk about Representative Buckner's comments around recognizing the signs of autism. And making sure that you get intervention as soon as possible. I think the medical community does their best to help with this, but the truth of the matter is parents know their kids. In our case, my daughter-in-law is really young, and she knew something wasn't right when, my grandson was very, very young, like as soon as 1 year old, and she tried to have that conversation with her doctor, and he really didn't pay any attention. I don't know if it was because he thought she was being overly anxious as a new parent or she was really young, but she tried to speak up and advocate for her kid, and she was not paid attention to. And even when he went for a second-year checkup, this still went on. And it wasn't until I had her referred to Child Find after his second-year checkup and nothing was being done to address the issue that he wasn't talking, and that we began the process of getting him evaluated, diagnosed, and began with interventions. And that's another journey that maybe for another time we could talk about. So, parents, advocate for your kids and don't stop, as would be my biggest message there. And so here are the comments that my daughter-in-law wrote for me. It's a little over a page, but I would hope you'd bear with me because I think it's really important we understand the aspect of how this really affects families. Autism is a lot of different things in our household, and it's a different experience for every family that has someone with autism spectrum disorder. I have a wonderful child with autism spectrum disorder who's 3 years old. Autism is the joy in my eyes, watching my child spin in circles and flap his hands. Autism is full of celebrations of little things that mean so much to my husband and I, but may seem like small accomplishments to others, like saying or signing a new word or trying a new food. Autism is splurging on all sensory toys and items that will help my child. Autism is having repetitive behaviors and having obsessions with awesome things. Autism is being a routine queen and always having a mental checklist of what needs to be done. Autism is chasing my child to get him to wear a sweater or to brush his teeth because of sensory issues. Autism is giving my child a bath as fast as possible because he really doesn't like the sensory feeling of water. Autism is praying my child will go to sleep before midnight. Autism is a constant routine that must be followed. Autism is the adorable smile and laugh my son does when he stims or plays with trains. Autism is stressing out from all of the therapies, phone calls, and appointments, which seem to be endless. Autism is surviving meltdowns and trying to help my son as much as I can. Autism is having my child be seen as a bad kid by other people. Autism is watching my son's impressive tiptoeing on any surface. Autism is the pain I feel when my child bangs his head into mine, so literal pain. Autism is eating chicken nuggets and pizza all day, every day. Autism is watching the Polar Express for the millionth time in a row. Autism is trying to get my child to just touch a new food. Autism is watching my child have a hard time making friends and being treated unfairly by some neurotypical peers. Autism is losing friends and family that are ignorant. Autism is not being able to use just anyone to babysit my kid. Autism is avoiding places that are too overwhelming for my child. Autism is being a helicopter mom at the playground. Autism is having my child constantly evaluated and having to prove my son has autism spectrum disorder over and over again. Autism is having a good cry alone or having immense happiness over a new milestone met or a new skill acquired. Autism is the realization that my child hears everything everyone says and he understands it, even if it's harder for him to make eye contact or respond. Autism is avoiding the happy birthday song because my son is not a fan of the loud noise. Autism is constant worry, stress, and a quirky kind of happiness. Autism is believing in my son and supporting him in whatever way I can. Autism is misunderstood by many, which is why spreading awareness and acceptance is so important. Autism is not only being a special needs parent, but an advocate who has to fight for my child's right and fight for acceptance. Autism is being my son's voice. Autism awareness isn't just in April for my husband and I, it's all year round. Autism is a part of my son, and I love him just the way he is. Autism is not a dirty word, and it's time everyone got acquainted. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Valentine. Representative Michelson-Janae.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Representative Lantine, for sharing your daughter's words. When, after my son's suicide attempt, we were taken to Children's Hospital, and through some of the evaluations, they did very thorough evaluations, and they came back and they said, you know, he's narrowly on the autism spectrum, and we think you should go have the gold standard testing and find out where he falls on the spectrum. And I am ashamed, members, to tell you that I did not go further with testing because I was afraid of the stigma of the label for my son. And when I look in the rearview mirror of raising a child who struggles with executive functioning, who struggles with sensory perception disorder, who struggles with deep, deep depression and stupendous giftedness, when I look in the rearview mirror and say, what if I had gone through with that testing and he would have gotten the resources and services he needed sooner? Parents who are here, children who are here, please know that there is no shame in a diagnosis. Even I did not know that there was no shame in a diagnosis, but there is no shame in a diagnosis. And as we look at it is a spectrum, I ask for people to look deep inside, because I actually think an autism diagnosis is an exposure of hidden superpowers. And I ask all of the kids that I work with to identify what is their superpower. You know what my kid's superpower is? He can take an Etch-a-Sketch and draw landscapes like you have never seen before. I dare you to make a smile look like a smile on an Etch-a-Sketch. My young man can make cityscapes on his. What is your superpower? Figure out what it is, dig deep inside, and let the world celebrate where you are on your spectrum. Thank you so much for sponsoring this today.
Thank you, Representative Michelson-Janae. Minority Leader Neville.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and members. Thank you for this resolution. I remember, and thank you for your words, Representative Lantine. I remember watching my cousin who has autism, and I was watching him when he was about 2 years old. And for us, it was Winnie the Pooh. He wanted to watch Winnie the Pooh over and over, and we didn't understand why at the time, and now we know. But I think it's important that we recognize that those with autism add such tremendous value to our society. I mean, every life is so important, and God puts us there in a certain way. And for me, I can't tell you why or how, but we love to go to Elitch's with all of our cousins. And every time we do, we went this past Sunday, and I'll just tell you, my middle child, Hannah, she just lights up when she sees my cousin Randy, who has autism. She just lights up like no other. And those two, they just have so much fun going to all the rides together on Elitch's, and I'm just so thankful to have my cousin Randy in my life. And I think it's important that we don't look at this as something that's a bad thing, but God makes us all unique, and it's wonderful.
Representative Buckner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Remember what I said the first month of the session? All of us are more alike than we are different. Most of us didn't know that Representative Michelson Janae had dealt with autism. And I know how difficult it is for Representative Lontine with her grandson and seeing what he might have to face in the future. And there are probably more stories in here that we just don't know about. So we need to be advocates for autism and keep this in mind. Autism figures are growing. Autism is the fastest growing developmental disorder. So be an advocate, remember the signs, and just remember our friends and our family and our members here in the House of Representatives who might need our support. Once again, I'm in strong support of this bill, of this resolution, and ask for an aye vote.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is a passage of SJR 36. All of those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying no. SJR 36 is passed. Would Representative Buckner.
Madam Speaker, I ask that all the members of the chamber be included in the roll call, in today's roll call, as co-sponsors.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got it.
It takes a village.
Seeing no objection, the morning roll call will be added as co-sponsors to SJR 36. Message from the Senate.
Madam Speaker, the Senate has adopted and transmits herewith Senate Joint Resolution 32.
Introduction of resolution.
Senate Joint Resolution 32 by Senator Kerr, also Representative Danielson, concerning the recognition of Colorado workers who died on the job and in connection therewith commemorating the 28th anniversary of Workers' Memorial Day on April 28, 2017.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of HJR 32.
Seeing no objection, we will suspend the rules for the immediate consideration of SJR 32. Madam Speaker Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, colleagues. I move Senate Joint Resolution 32, and out of respect for your time today, I won't have it read at length. I just have some words to say about what we're observing today with this resolution. On April 28, 1971, the United States created the Occupational Safety and Health Administration in the Department of Labor. It's an agency created for the sole purpose of protecting workers from injury and death. And since that date, since 1989, Workers' Memorial Day has been recognized throughout Colorado, throughout the nation, and around the world as a day to mourn and show reverence for those who have perished as a result of work-related accidents. And please, you can be seated if you'd like. That's why we come before you today with this Senate Joint Resolution to recognize those who have fallen on the job, to recognize those who have worked so hard to prevent this kind of workplace injury, and to hopefully continue to improve the workplace for the people who work so hard across the state. So on this day, we mark those who have died, but also those who have become sickened, injured, or disabled. These are still real threats on the workplace, and we resolve to be in kind of set a constant, just resolve to continue to work for those who are still in the workplace and face these kinds of dangers on a daily basis. Each of you have been given one of these little purple ribbons. And it does say April 28th, and that's just the timing of how we move through the legislature. Obviously, today is April 27th. But we wanted to take the time today when we could to recognize those who have fallen and to continue to work to prevent workplace safety hazards, to continue to work to prevent deaths in the workplace and injuries. So I'll keep my comments very short. And if, Madam Speaker, if it's okay with you, we'll just move to vote on the resolution and then have a couple of introductions, and it looks like a couple other members would like to speak.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Thank you so much, colleagues. Again, out of respect for those workers who have perished on the job and out of the respect for the fight to protect those that are working yet today, I urge an aye vote on Senate Joint Resolution 32.
Okay. Further discussion on SJR 32. Assistant Minority Leader West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, as many of you may know, I practice in the area of workplace safety and health law, and I get called out many times to work sites where someone has lost their life and work with companies and families and employees as they work through that process. And I can tell you that the pain that's experienced in every workplace that I've been at where there's been an occupational fatality is palpable. It's something that you can feel. These are employees who have lost a coworker, a friend, a member of their family. We've made tremendous strides in this country in terms of workplace safety, but I think as those in industry would tell you, and employees and labor unions would tell you, that one fatality is too many. So Representative Danielson, thank you very much for this very important resolution to honor the importance of safety in our workplaces and to honor those who have lost their lives, including my uncle, who I specifically wanted to mention, Jim Brzonek, died in 1967 in an underground coal mine on the Western Slope. I remember you today, Uncle Jim. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the passage of SJR 32. All of those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying no. SJR 32 is passed. Madam Speaker Pro Tem Danielson. Co-sponsors? Please open the machine, Ms. Randall. Please close the machine. Madam Speaker Pro Tem Danielson.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Thank you, colleagues, and especially Representative Wist for your comments. I really appreciate that today, and you demonstrate the need for this resolution. As you also mentioned, there are a number of organizations, companies, individuals, labor unions that come together that fought so hard for every single protection that we've ever gained. There's a lot of work yet to be done, as you said, and as you said, one fatality is too many. But I do have a few people in the chamber that I would really like to recognize because they have been part of this struggle for a very long time, are on the front lines, have my complete respect and gratitude. And so just give me 1 second and I'll call out your names. Please hold your applause until the end. Today we're joined in the chamber by Adrian Prince and Shelley Vogel from the Association of Flight Attendants. Lenina Heinold from AFGE and the VA, and thank you for your service to our country. Raul Duran from the Labor's International Union, Local 720. Mr. Tom Tuttle and Gary Arnold from the Pipefitters, Local 208. And up in the gallery, we have members of the Colorado Professional Firefighters Association, the Office of Professional Employees, the American Federation of Teachers, Sheet Metal Workers, Electricians, IBW Local 68, more of the Pipefitters Local 208, and more of the laborers. Please stand and be recognized. Thank you so much for being here today. And don't forget to wear your purple ribbons in honor of today's resolution and those workers that we mentioned. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you so very much for joining us today. With that, I believe that we are going to second reading general orders bills. Would somebody like to make a motion to proceed out of order for second? Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for consideration of general orders.
All right. Representative Pabon. That was impressive. He just has it memorized. Seeing no objection, Representative Pabon will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for a reading of bill at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested, as they are printed in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads and not read unless requested. Bills will be laid over upon the motion of the majority or assistant majority leader. The coat rule is relaxed. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1268.
House Bill 1268 by Representative Herod, also Senator Quorum, concerning changing the maximum jail sentence for certain crimes from 1 year to 364 days.
Representative Herod.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1268.
To the bill.
House Bill 1268 reduces the maximum penalty for second-degree misdemeanors and municipal offenses from 1 year to 364 days, and I ask for a yes vote.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1268? Seeing none, the question be Representative Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for letting me come down the aisle.
Representative Willett.
Thank you. Members, we heard this in Judiciary, and unfortunately, it's a well-meaning bill, but not well-crafted, in my personal opinion. If you look at the bill, it's rather odd. We're going to change one letter or one numeral, 365 to 364. Well, it doesn't take much to kind of say, well, that's a little odd. Why would you do that? And what are the ramifications of doing that? Well, the gist of it is, folks, we have now done the research to find out what crimes this would include. Class 2 misdemeanors take up 29 pages that I have right here. And when you start going through these 29 pages, you run into things like arson, attempted Class 1 offenses, a lot of pretty serious crimes of moral turpitude. So the problem is, unintentionally, I think this bill catches a whole bunch of serious crimes when I think the real intent was for these little things that happen in municipal court that typically are the petty offense, the small theft that probably I could get behind. And as I understand it, an original version of this bill was many pages long, where they tried to go through and judiciously and thoughtfully capture which crimes we should exclude from triggering a deportation of a lawful immigrant worker or lawful worker of other sorts. So sadly, I stand in opposition. Think about another simple fact. You all know enough about crime to know what kind of crime can trigger 364 days in jail. That's a lot. It's got to be something pretty dang serious. And these workers are here as our guests, and we want them to abide by our laws. Now, we can forgive some minor stuff, but if it's up to a year in jail, that's got to be pretty serious. And unfortunately, this bill allows that. So this bill needs some reworking. I urge a no vote. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Representative Herod.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members, I do appreciate the members of the Judiciary Committee who have been paying such attention to this bill. But one day, the reason why we're reducing this for one day is because we are looking at small offenses, Class 2 misdemeanors. This bill is supported by the Colorado Bar Association, particularly because, as an entire association, because it will lessen the strain on our courts at our local levels. These are crimes that people actually don't, for a first offense, don't get one year. Simple things like petty theft, you typically get a suspended sentence. And so this will help the courts, this will help cut down on some of the procedures in the courts, and I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Lundin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you. I want to thank the representative for bringing the bill in the conversation. The types of crimes that would be affected by this are substantial. They run from things as threatening to life and property as arson, and they run also into affairs that would, in fact, change potentially the trajectory of our state. There are Class 2 misdemeanors, of course, around elections and election fraud. So to perceive that this is de minimis or minor or not significant is an incorrect way, in my opinion, of looking at it. I think we need to be careful about what seems to be a teeny tiny tweak and the potential change in trajectory that this could have for our communities or our country. I'm just scrolling through a list produced here by Ledge Counsel, and it is 27, 28 pages long of these M2 Class 2 misdemeanors that would be affected by this bill. I urge your opposition.
Representative Melton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Representative Herod, for bringing this bill. I rise in strong support of 1268. Members, we're talking about reducing the sentences by 1 day. We're not talking about cutting years off of sentences. We're not talking about cutting months off of sentences. We're not talking about cutting weeks off of sentences. We're talking about 1 day. These are low-level minor offenses, members, but that 1 day could mean a lot for a family, could mean a lot for an individual, could reduce some burden that's on our municipal courts right now. I don't think that we're going to see lawlessness. I don't think we're going to see a lot going on in these low-level offenses by cutting the sentence down by 1 day. I urge an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill? Representative Carver.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I urge a no vote on this bill. The challenge is, as already mentioned by Rep. Willett and Rep. Lundin, we are talking a huge number of offenses that range from municipal, which are small and minor, but those range of offenses under Class 2 felony are very broad, are pages and pages, and so we just think that this is not properly tailored, and we would urge a no vote. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1268. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. House Bill 1268 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1322 till later today.
House Bill 1322 will be laid over as requested by the Majority Leader. Mr. Randall, please slowly but surely read the title of House Bill 1307.
House Bill 1307 by Representative Winter concerning the creation of a family and medical leave insurance program.
Representative Winter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1307, and I move the Appropriations Committee report and the Business and Labor Committee report.
To the Appropriations, actually there is no Appropriations Committee report. There's a Finance Committee report.
And a Finance. Okay. And a Finance Committee report.
To the Finance Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Finance Committee report, we simply clarified exactly what types of fees these are to add more clarity, and I urge a yes vote on the Finance Committee report.
Is there any further discussion on the Finance Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the Finance Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Finance Committee report passes. Business Affairs and Labor report. Representative Winter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did very good work in Business Affairs and Labor. We made sure this applied to all employees in the state. We made sure that we were giving businesses some assistance in setting up this deduction. We moved the time period for businesses to abide by job protection from 30 to 90 days. And we also increased penalties for employees that try to defraud the system, and I encourage an I report.
Is there any further discussion on the Business Affairs and Labor report? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The Business Affairs and Labor Committee report is passed. To the bill, Representative Winter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I believe that in Colorado, everyone should be able to be a responsible employee and a responsible family member. Unfortunately, that's not the case right now. We have employees across the state making the choices to be with their children as they're in the NICU or keep their paycheck, to be with their dying parents or keep their paycheck, or to attend their own chemotherapy or keep their paycheck. We are the only industrialized country that does not offer any version of paid leave. In fact, only 14% of employees in Colorado have access to paid leave. I think it's time for us to catch up with the rest of the world. For the price of a cup of coffee, 1/2 of 1% of your payroll, you can pay into this insurance program. This is an all-employee paid system, and the solution makes sense. But this isn't just about workers, this is also about businesses. When I ran my own nonprofit, I had 1 employee. When she went on leave, I did the work of 2. I could have used this to save money or to hire temporary workers. We have small businesses across the state facing the same situation, which is why, in fact, over 50% of small businesses, according to polling, support this. This allows them to stay competitive against large companies, and it reduces turnover and recruitment costs. But beyond the benefits to employees and businesses, there's better health outcomes. Children stay in the hospital 31% shorter amount of time when a parent has access to paid leave. People recover from cancer faster when they have paid leave, and this helps our seniors stay in their home. But we're not done there. This is also good for the state. Women with paid leave are 39% less likely to be on public assistance and 40% likely to need food stamps. This is good for workers, it's good for business, it's good for health outcomes, and it's good for our state, and I encourage a yes vote.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1307? Representative Nordberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I rise in opposition to House Bill 1307. As the father of 2 little girls, the importance of family and medical leave is certainly not lost on me. However, creating a new $500 million, 250-plus new full-time employee state-run bureaucracy is not the answer. To fund this behemoth bureaucracy that this bill will be establishing, every public and private sector employee in the state would be forced to pay a premium, or a tax, you might say, to be determined by the director of this new program, the director of this new division, and he would have the sole authority to decide what that is. But have no fear, if for whatever reason those premiums are not enough For the solvency of this new program, he could charge a solvency surcharge, which is not capped at all, and would be completely at his discretion with no oversight from the legislature whatsoever. Unlike the Family and Medical Leave Act, which exempts companies with 50 or fewer employees, this program applies to businesses of all sizes. So for even the smallest of our small businesses, they would have to adhere to the provisions of this bill. Members, this is just the highlight reel. We could spend the whole morning discussing this program. But unfortunately, this represents a one-size-fits-all solution for circumstances that are rarely uniform. But furthermore, the bill represents a huge tax increase for every public and private sector employee in Colorado to fund a huge new entitlement program. Would respectfully ask for a no vote on House Bill 1307.
Representative Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to talk briefly about the sources of how governments raise revenue and the difference between a tax and a fee in the state of Colorado, which I know you have all been waiting for. It has been said a few times with respect to this bill that it creates a tax increase. And let's be perfectly clear, there's very extensive case law in the state of Colorado as to what is a tax and to what is a fee, and this is definitely a fee and not a tax. There's also case law about special assessments, another revenue-raising tool, but I get the sense that's not, hearing about that is not why you guys are here today. Tax is a tool that is used to raise money for general government revenue. So an income tax, sales tax, is money that's charged on one thing, but the money can be used for any general governmental purpose. That is a tax under the Colorado Taxpayers Bill of Rights. It has to be voted ahead of time, and that is not what is in this bill. A fee is a different animal. A fee is an amount that's charged with respect to a service, and that has to be used. That fee has to be reasonably related to the service that's being provided and the people who are paying the fee. And that's exactly what we have in this case. The people who will be paying the fee for insurance for family leave are the people who will be receiving that benefit. The employees will pay that fee, and then they will be protected if they need family leave later. There are a lot of obviously other policy questions with respect to this bill. I happen to support this bill. Other people might not. But let's be perfectly clear, this bill has nothing to do with taxation. This is a fee. We are authorized to impose fees to offset the cost of government programs, and I'll leave it to others who are more eloquent than I to talk about the rest of the finer points. But if we want to I have case law citations. We can go in deep, but we'll just leave it there for now. Thank you.
Representative Liston.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, members, when I was in the legislature a number of years ago, and I have a recollection that when the Family Medical Leave Act came in, a lot of people said, there was a lot of opposition and pro and con, and the proponents of it said, look, if you trust us on this, this will not cost business anything, and specifically will not cost the state government anything. And so here I am, looking at this. I wasn't in the committee, but had I been on business, I'm sure I would have loved to have heard this. So I look at the fiscal note on this now, and I see that it's going to now be a $19 million state expenditure that's going to go up exponentially from there. I mean, I'm just flabbergasted that a program that was talked about just a few short years ago that was supposedly not going to cost the state anything is ballooning into a mega $1 million program with over 250 FTEs in the coming years. I'm shocked at this. No wonder the state does not have any money for roads and bridges and other necessary programs that we absolutely need. I'm just flabbergasted at this. I urge a no vote on 1307. Thank you.
Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And we'll let the people of Colorado decide if this is a tax or not. I'll read from the bill, page 14, lines 1 and 2. Every individual employed in this state shall pay a premium, an amount determined by the director, an unelected director, by the way. If that feels like a new tax when the money is mandated to be taken out of your paycheck, then that's a new tax to me.
Representative Winter.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would ask that the letter I just gave to staff is submitted to the screen. Members, it's not just us that actually know this isn't a tax. We've actually had legal opinions given to us that this does indeed abide by Tabor and is a fee and not a tax and is well confirmed in case law. There's our legal opinion.
Representative Salazar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Well, we know it's not a tax, so voters won't have to decide it because it's a premium, and we already have legal authority to say that it's not a tax. It is a premium, which is a surcharge, which is different from a tax. But here's something else I want to tell you guys. And my good friend, the representative from Colorado Springs, mentioned a little bit ago that he has kids and he certainly appreciates family medical leave time. But guess who else does? A strong majority of voters support family medical leave time. The Washington Post poll found that more than 4/5 of voters, including 94% of Democrats, 80% of independents, and 65% of Republicans, agree that workplace rules to ensure paid time off to care for family members is good for our nation. And why is that? Because the health of our families is good for the nation. And when you're able to spend time home and on paid leave to take care of a loved one, that's good for the nation. In fact, I can't even see how someone couldn't recognize that it's good for the nation for parents to stay home with their sick children or their sick family members to nurse them back to health without having to file bankruptcy. And there's something about that too. Did you know that a number of people who have to file for bankruptcy, that 7% of people who file for bankruptcy cited the birth of a child as the cause because they didn't get paid leave? Well, guess what's not good for the nation? People having to file for bankruptcy. We want to make sure that people are able to pay their creditors on their bills, and that if there's a birth of a child or if that there's a sick loved one at home, that they have family medical leave to help pay for that. That only makes sense. In fact, it's such common sense, I don't know how one could even argue against it. I'm in support of House Bill 1307.
Representative Navarro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members, as we go on to these debates for second readings, you're going to start hearing about this is not a tax, it's a fee. And the way that they dance around the Tabor is they're introducing new enterprises. So then the taxpayers don't get to have a decision or a vote on the new taxes that they're going to be charged for this family medical leave. The other issue that I have about this is that it's not only for you, but you could designate anyone to take that time as well. So my question is, if you're working 2 and 3 jobs, do you get to take these hours from each individual job? Another thing that we've been hearing a lot about is the potential gifts, grants, and donations. Again, where are these filed? What's the limits? Who's in charge of it? Who's looking over these boards? Who's appointing these people to these boards? There are so many issues with this bill that I'm urging a no vote on 1307.
Representative Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to take a moment and honor the branch of government that tells us what our laws mean and how they should be applied by doing a quick reading from Bloom versus City of Fort Collins, the seminal, as we all know, the seminal constitutional case in Colorado on the distinction between a tax and a fee. That's actually a pretty accessible. You don't even have to be an attorney necessarily to understand how it comes out. So it's a very well-written opinion. This is the Colorado Supreme Court. Actually, this opinion, interestingly, predates Tabor because these are issues that actually existed before the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. This is a 1989 case. Unlike a tax, a special fee is not designed to raise revenues to defray the general expenses of government, but rather is a charge imposed upon persons or property for the purpose of defraying the cost of a particular governmental service. The amount of the special fee must be reasonably related to the overall cost of the service. Mathematical exactitude, okay, that is a little lawyer nerdy, I'm sorry. Mathematical exactitude, however, is not required. And the particular mode adopted by the city, or in this case the state, in assessing the fee is generally a matter of legislative discretion. The ordinance creating a special service fee or the law therefore generally will be upheld as long as it's reasonably designed to defray the cost of the particular service rendered by, again, the municipality, in this case the state. That's your Colorado Supreme Court. God bless them. They are a branch of government that is in charge of defining these things. And again, you can dislike this policy or you can like the policy, but the case law is very, very clear what the difference between a fee and a tax is, and this is definitely a fee, and I promise I'll stop now after that.
Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members. I just want you to know that I refuse to be drawn into a red herring debate about Tabor. This is not a debate about whether it's a tax or a fee. I think this is a debate about what's good for three entities, what's good for businesses, what's good for employees, and what's good for the state of Colorado. And what I would submit is that this bill sets up one more problem for employers. They have to jump through one more set of hoops in order to execute this bill. So it's bad for business. The state of Colorado has to set up a major program with 200 more FTEs in a very short time. So it's bad for the state and for the budgeting process that we go through every year. So it's bad for the state. And I submit it's bad for employees. It further erodes the contract that good employees make with employers to allow them to take time off and sometimes pay them for time off and sometimes set up their own program in a voluntary way. And that's how the free enterprise system works. It's people working in their own self-interest to choose their own path, both employers and employees. And if we let that function, it functions best and it works for all of us. I'd urge a no vote.
Representative Montine. Oh, no. Representative Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Folks, I just wanted to come and speak to a couple of the policy benefits of this measure that I really like. The economic and health benefits of paid family leave. Top of the list, especially for me right now, is it's proven that paid family leave results in healthier pregnancies and healthier children once the kids are born. Women are far more likely to re-enter the workforce. They're also far more likely to be paid more, and that results in a lifetime earning that is far higher than it would have been if she didn't have paid family leave all along the way. That means she and her family are investing in our economy. So it's building a stronger economy through a stronger family household income. And these are a couple of measures right now that are really poignant and part of why the majority of Coloradans continually say they believe in this. They believe in the value of paid family leave and their ability to be in the workforce and take care of their family members, their health care, and their basic needs while continuing to bring in the income that runs their household and everything that they do with that. So not just the basics, but investing that higher earning power back into the economy that drives so many businesses and other jobs across the state. So I stand in really strong support of this bill. Thank you.
Representative Norberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It is an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor and a pleasure to serve with you.
And tax, no. Representative Gray has done a great job bringing his lesson plan as to what a tax versus a fee is. And I certainly appreciate this conversation. And if we pass this bill, he's going to need to have that lesson plan ready, because you're going to have every employee in the state asking, why is the government taking more of these out of my paycheck? And not only that, why is it being done by one unelected bureaucrat that the legislature has vested sole authority to raise premiums, to raise these taxes? But not only that, why is the government charging me a solvency surcharge to fund a program that I have no interest in participating in? Heck, I don't even have a choice as to whether or not I participate in this program. So members, we certainly can agree on family and medical leave. There is an important conversation there. But again, when you craft a legislation that creates a new $500 million entitlement program that's going to require 250 new full-time employees, that's a problem. Members, I ask for a no vote on House Bill 1307.
Representative Salazar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. You know, I like how some members come down and talk about small business this, small business that. And yeah, let's listen to small business. A 2017 poll released by the Small Business Majority found that 81% of small businesses support FMLA, and 70% support a paid family and medical leave insurance program. A 2013 study found that 87% of California employers, where this has already been enacted, that 87% of California employers said that the state's family leave program had either positive or neutral effects on business. So yes, let's listen to small business. Let's listen to them. And since we're doing visual aids today with dollar bills, I'm going to bring out my own. It's a $5 bill. So for that dollar bill that you put into family paid leave is going to secure your ability to pay your bills while you're out, for the birth of a child, for a sick parent or a sick family member. And guess what? You're going to get paid for that. That way you don't lose $5 because you're not getting paid and your bills are racking up and interest is accruing and penalties are accruing. You're actually getting paid to take care of a sick loved one. So yeah, I think the visuals are good. You put in your dollar and you're going to have far more value to it, because either you're not losing your job, or number two, you're getting your bills paid, which is once again a benefit to society. And I don't hear anybody coming up here saying that it's not. I don't hear anybody coming up here saying, oh, you know what, let's let people go into bankruptcy because they had a child. No one's doing that, and no one would do that, because it's a benefit and it's positive for society in general to ensure that people are getting paid and they're paying their bills. So let's listen to small business, because they've already weighed in on it. And let's remember that the dollar that you put in is invaluable to families and to our society. Once again, I rise in support of House Bill 1307.
Representative Navarro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm glad that you brought up how this is working in other states. If you look on page 3 of the fiscal note, you'll see that Washington passed a family leave program in 2007. That has not yet been funded. This is where I see this situation for Colorado. Again, I urge a no vote on 1307.
Representative Winter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's true, Washington State hasn't funded theirs, which is why we decided to be a little bit more innovative. And and through that bill, I feel we are. We've actually been talking to investors and banks, which is why we are using investment in bonds to pay for this program. So it's not about taking money from the general fund. It's not about taking money from taxpayers. We actually have people from the private sector willing to invest their hard-earned dollars to get this off the ground because they believe in it so much. This is an innovative solution that works for Colorado.
Representative Navarro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, I did ask in committee, who are the investors? Who are the private sectors that are willing to invest in this program? I was not given an answer. I wasn't given names. I wasn't given amounts. Nothing.
Representative Singer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I rise in strong support of House Bill 1307. This is part of why I ran for office. Representative Winter, thank you so much for doing this. Before we talk about the numbers, because we've heard a lot about the numbers, let's talk about the people for a second. Because I don't want to lose the forest through the trees. I think, all this debate about how the money is being spent and where it's being spent, yeah, that's fine. Let's have that conversation. But the core issue here is that we have family members trying to take care of each other, something we should be supporting, and making sure that they don't have to sacrifice their own livelihood, their housing, their ability to put food on the table. When I was a supervisor for childcare, we didn't have this. And it was really hard. And I can remember 2 people coming to me just asking for time off, and they were afraid to, because they were afraid not that they wouldn't be able to afford the bills that they had to pay when they weren't working, but that they couldn't come back. And when they came to me, I had to go to my HR department and say, look, there's a death in the family. There's another person, they're about to give birth to their second child. They need a little extra time off. What can we do? And basically, thankfully, HR put that back on my shoulders. They said, you make it work, we're okay. And so I looked those employees in the eye and I said, as long as I have a job, you have a job. So for Joanna and Jamie and all those employees that were on the margins trying to make it work as a daycare provider and trying to take care of your own kids at the same time, this bill is for you, your kids, and their kids to make sure that they never have to sacrifice the way that you did when you were working for me. So thank you, Representative Winter, for bringing this bill. Let's talk about how we can make this work, but people trying to poke holes in arguments about how this is paid for, the core issue is what we should be talking about. The core issue is the fact that people want to do the right thing and take care of each other, and we don't have a way to do it. So let's hear more about how to make this work, not about why this way isn't the best way, because this is far better than what we've got right now.
Any other discussion on House Bill 1307? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1307. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. The ayes have it. House Bill 1307 is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we rise and report.
You've heard no objection. Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
House will come to order. Mr. Randall, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, your committee of the whole begs leave to report it has under consideration the following attached bills being second reading thereof, makes the following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1268, House Bill 1307 is amended, passed on second reading, and goes to place the counter for third reading and final passage.
Members, you have heard the report of the Committee of the Whole. Representative Pabon. All right, you have heard the motion. There are no amendments at the desk. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Arndt, Representative Janal, Representative Hansen, Representative Buckner, Michelson Janae, Lawrence Lewis. Please close the machine. With 59 yes votes, 6 no votes, the report of the Committee of the Whole is adopted. Announcements and introductions. Representative Kraft-Tharp.
Business Affairs and Labor Committee, can I have your attention, please? Everybody on the Business Affairs and Labor Committee, raise your hand. Representative McKee, not you. So, committee members, I really need you to hear this. Because you are the best committee, we have added a new bill to this afternoon's agenda because we know you can handle it. House Bill 1365 was introduced just a little while ago. We will be hearing this bill this afternoon. The sponsors of the bill have been talking with you about this bill. So that's House Bill 1365 will be added to the end of the calendar today. Thank you, Business Affairs Committee members.
Any further announcements or introductions? Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Once again, I announced this before, but I'll do it again. Transportation and Energy, we will meet in 10 minutes, which means 11:20, please. We have 2 bills. One should be really quick. Thanks.
Further announce.
Okay, she wants the numbers. All right, 1362 and 229.
Representative Young.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of Appropriations and those of you who think you have a bill that is going through Appropriations, I'm here to announce we're having an Appropriations Committee meeting at the really nice hour of 7:30 in the morning tomorrow morning. And the reason we are meeting in LSBA at 7:30 in the morning tomorrow morning is because we have a lot of bills on the agenda. And so I'm going to read those bills to you. Listen carefully. I'll read the number of the bill, not the whole bill to you. Right. House Bill 1022. House Bill 1043. House Bill 1079. House Bill 1119. House Bill 1127, House Bill 1162, House Bill 1191, House Bill 1192, House Bill 1195, House Bill 1204, House Bill 1208, House Bill 1264, House Bill 1281, House Bill 1323, House Bill 1324, House Bill 1329, House Bill 1343, House Bill 1345, House Bill 1346, House Bill 1356, House Bill 1361, Senate Bill 91, Senate Bill 121, Senate Bill 202, Senate Bill 243, and Senate Bill 288. After you hear that list, that's why we're starting at 7:30. See you then. If you have a bill on that list, be sure you're there for the meeting as well as we discuss your bill. Thank you.
Representative Lee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Judiciary Committee, we're going to have a change of order of bills this afternoon. House Bill 1303, Representative Wist and Lee will be number 2 behind House Bill 1159. So we got to finish up all these bills by 5 o'clock this afternoon. So please be on time.
Representative Foote.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. State Affairs, we will be meeting at 11:30 in LSBA. There's been a bill order change. We're going to hear Senate Bill 82 first. That's because the other two Senate bills, 212 and 209, are carried by Representative Weissman, who will be in another committee presenting another bill at that time. So we're switching Senate Bill 82 up to first, and then we'll have Senate Bill 212 and then Senate Bill 209 for action only at that point. And that starts at 11:30. Join the fun in State Affairs.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm on the Approach Committee meeting tomorrow, but if anyone would like to take my spot at 7:30, just let me know. But just a reminder, that was a joke, that was a joke, that was a joke. Just a reminder, we're coming back at 5:30 tonight. Reminder, 5:30 tonight. Be here. There will be a call to the House for all those who are new here. That means no matter where you are, the sergeants will find you. So please don't make them come find you in a weird spot. Be here at 5:30.
And don't recess yet. Reports of committees of reference.
Committee on Education, after consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following: House Bill 1359 be referred to the committee of the whole with favorable recommendation. Senate Bill 272 be referred to the committee of the whole with favorable recommendation. Committee on Local Government, after consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following: House Bill 1348 be referred favorably to the committee on Transportation and Energy. House Bill 1354 be referred to the committee of the whole with favorable recommendation. Senate Bill 228 be referred to the committee of the whole with favorable recommendation. Senate Bill 252 be referred to the committee of the whole with favorable recommendation. Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs, after consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following: House Bill 1254 be amended as follows, and as so amended be referred to the committee of the whole with favorable recommendation. House Bill 1327 be referred favorably to the committee on Local Government. Senate Bill 2 be postponed indefinitely. Senate Bill 116 be postponed indefinitely. Senate Bill 204 be postponed indefinitely. Committee on Transportation and Energy, after consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following: House Bill 3039 be amended as follows, and as so amended be referred to the committee of the whole with favorable recommendation. Senate Bill 270 be referred favorably to the Committee on Legislative Counsel. Senate Bill 286 be referred to the Committee of the whole with favorable recommendation.
Signing bills, resolutions, memorials.
The Speaker has signed Senate Bill 256, 261, 262, 263.
Signing bills, resolutions, memorials will be printed in the journal. Message from the Senate.
Madam Speaker, the Senate has
Message
adopted
from the Senate will be printed in the journal. Message from the advisor.
We herewith transmit
Message from the
without
advisor will be printed in the journal. Further announcements or introductions. Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, just one more reminder. Local government, we're meeting 5 minutes after we leave here. Local government in 5 minutes.
Further announcements or introductions? Any further announcements or introductions? Seeing no further announcements or introductions, would somebody like to move to recess us? Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until 1:30 today.
Seeing no objection, the House will stand in recess until 1:30 p.m. today.